What's good, y'all? It's that boy, Easy Millions, and I'm your host of that boy, ETV. And you already know, man, we are back on Mortal Kombat. And here I'm gonna do something a little different, man. As ever since they nerfed my boy, they pretty much have never done anything since as far as giving him buffs. He's pretty much bottom tier at this point. And they've been giving him somewhat of buffs in his last few patches, but all these little things that they've added to him have pretty much been useless. And I'm just going to go over and I'm going to just be like, yo, if you really want to buff Raiden, man, we really got to fix these things here. And the first thing I'm going to go over, man, is going to be my down back 2, or what y'all know as, what it's called in the game, as Razzle Dazzle. So as you can see, we got the down back 2 Razzle Dazzle. So the normal version of this, it just has, I can't do anything. I'm not able to combo after this, as it puts him too far for me to jab after. As you can see, even when you hit it, I can't really do anything. Now, if you do happen to have him in the corner, actually you still can't, because I have him on auto block. So you can't even finish up after this, even after hitting it. So I don't understand what this is for. It's completely useless, man. Completely useless as a move. This move should be something in which, like, it gives you plus frames or something you throw out in between a string, like a plus frame move. I don't know, but this move here is completely fucking useless, bro. I have no use for it at all. Now there is an enhanced version of this which looks like this, and it's a grab which only does 85 damage. So I mean, that's not bad, I guess, in the damage department, but no one ends their combo with this. I used to end my combos with this when I first started using Raiden, but just look at this. Okay, so just look at this, right? Well, actually, no. Here we go. Look at this. With the shocker, I'm getting 35. I use up a bar, and I get an extension. Now, when you do the enhanced version of Razzle Dazzle, I'm getting less damage, right? Because doing the shocker gives me 35. This gives me 34. And it puts me full screen, at which, in my opinion, Raiden is not the best at. His projectile is not good. It has a slow startup, and it's not very good. Now, most of the time, people try to get it to at least 3. That's when it's usually halfway decent. But you're rarely really going to see Raidens throwing out this projectile. It's not very good. So I don't see the purpose in this enhanced move. Now, I guess you could say it's for side switching. But am I going to really use up my whole bar in order to side switch? Especially when Raiden already has to use a bar in order to extend combos. And even though I just said that, I am going to talk about the recent buff here in a minute. But for real, still enhanced shocker is the only way to really enhance combos for real. Consistently, at least, in my opinion. So the Razzle Dazzle, whether it's the normal version of that or the enhanced version, there's really no purpose for it at all. I have a whole move that is just 100% useless. I don't even think there's a brutality on the enhanced version of this or anything. Maybe there's one on the Razzle Dazzle, but why would I waste my time going for this move? Please, 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 can we do something about this move? All right, so the next move we got to sit here and talk about, man, is going to be his forward 2-1, and that's going to be called Electric Charge, right? This is what it looks like. Okay, it's a mid, right? Now, here's the problem. This move here is negative 15 on block, right? It's negative 15 on block. So, with that being the reason, why am I ever going to throw this move out, right? Even if I throw this move out, can I do a cameo? I can cameo after it, but for what? I'm not getting anything out of this move. This move here, this forward 2-1, only gives me about 12 damage. It's negative 16 on block, right? And it serves no purpose. because I'm always just going to do 4-2-2, or I'm going to do 4-2-2-4 as the moves. I will never use 4-2-1 unless I'm going for the brutality that's associated with it. Now, other than the brutality being associated with this move, there's 100% no reason to use this string at all. Now, what they should do is make this a 4-2-2-1 string and make that 1 an overhead. This way, when you use this, you now have to guess, am I going to do a 4-2-2-1 overhead, or would I do the 4-2-2-4 low? That would give Raiden mix-up potential and allow him to actually open people up, because he has a very hard time doing that. To change this string here to 4-2-2-1 and make the 1 an overhead, because right now the 4-2-1, this is pointless. Again, you're setting, it ends with us being full screen. Yes, I have a teleport, but it's not safe. Yes, I have my electric fly, but that ain't safe. I have to use a cameo to keep it safe. I'm just trying to figure out what is the benefit of me being full screen with Raiden. There really isn't one, because I don't have the best projectiles as a character. So with that being said, again, this 4-2-1 is pure garbage. It should be a 4-2-2-1, and they should make that an overhead, man. They gotta change this, because this is horrible. Now, as a Raiden main, this is probably gonna be the most controversial of the takes, because this time I'm gonna be talking about his string called Deadly Current. That's the 2-4-2-1 string. His probably, honestly, his 2-4-2 string is extremely good, but this string, this full completed string right here is what we're talking about. The full completed version of this string, okay? So first off, let's see how much damage it does. It does 17 damage, okay? Now here's the kicker. Once again, it's another move that Raiden has that for some odd reason wants to put the character at basically full screen. Again, I don't know why he has so many moves that does this when his projectile is so bad. Now maybe what they're trying to do is push people back so you have time to actually charge this thing, right? But so many characters have, like Johnny Cage here, he could just do his shadow kick, boom, he's across the screen. Reptile, he could do his thing, boom, you're across the screen. Most characters have something that gets across the screen better than Raiden does, okay? So I don't understand why he has so many moves that constantly puts him at a disadvantage or puts the opponent far off like this, right? So again, this string right here, this 2-4-2-4 string right here. Because when you use this string and you happen to get blocked, it's a -16, man. Completely unsafe. -16. So if they block this, it's a full punish. This is why this move is bad, for it being -16. There's no reason for me to use the full string ever unless I'm trying to special cancel. The only time you use the full string is when you special cancel it. That's it. And that's just so you can get the 4th hit. But if you're not special canceling, there's no point of this string at all. Once again, forcing Raiden to have to use his bar consistently. Now, why do I say this move right here is so bad? And I'm gonna show you, and Johnny Cage is the reason why. So let's switch over to Johnny. So now that we on Johnny, I'm gonna show another 4-button string that Johnny has that's called Foot Loosey Goosey, right? It's 2-1-4-4. Let's see what this looks like. Okay? Not only let's see that again. Not only does this string have a low into an overhead, forcing you as the player to block low and high, right? You have to block low and high because he does a low into an overhead, right? See, low, overhead. So you have to do that. So most of the time, when people use this string, they go ahead and special cancel it anyway, right? So it'll be like this. You'll usually see that. That's usually what people do. Now, I was under the impression that the reason why this happens is because his string would be similar to that of Raiden's, right? Where if you finish it, the reason why you special cancel this is so that you can go ahead and, you know, save yourself from being unsafe, right? This string is completely safe. -6. So not only does he get the mix-up potential with the string, making you block 2 different ways in it, he also starts up faster, because this right here starts up faster than mine does. His jab string starts up a lot faster than Raiden does. His is safe, on mine is not. And on top of that, his does 70 damage compared to mine, which I believe does 77.5, right? So just to make sure. No, that's 16 damage. I'm tripping. That's 16 damage, right? So this does 16 damage, safe on block, faster than mine. But when you go to Raiden and you do that 4-thing string, mine is 17 and it's completely unsafe, and you don't have to block multiple ways in order to block it. So essentially they do the same damage, but one you have to actually block up and down, and one is safe. So again, my string, the 2-4-2-1 string here that you see is just bad. Again, you force me to special cancel it, so I have to do a special move after it. I have to get out of this, because if they block it, I'm just unsafe. Or I have to use my cameo to keep me safe. I have to use some type of resource to keep me safe off of this string. And if I do hit it, it then knocks me too far. It knocks the person too far for me to really capitalize on. Really, the reason why most people special cancel this is due to the fact that even if you finish it, it knocks the person so far back, and then you have to kind of work your way back in. But with Johnny, that's a lot easier than with Raiden. I know Raiden does have the projectile, but Raiden's projectile is booty cheeks. So again, when it comes to both the moves, man, it's just, I don't understand why mine has to be completely unsafe. It doesn't give me an overhead or a low in it, so it doesn't have to be blocked any kind of special way or anything like that. It's just really, really crazy, man. Just really, really crazy. Hopefully they do something about that. All right, so the last move I want to talk about, man, is going to be this back two that everyone says is great, right? So my back two right here, my overhead move, or just the overhead that he throws out right here. So when it comes to startup, it has a 19 frame startup with 80 damage. It's -7 on block. And at the end of the day, it ends with pushback, and it pushes the person back. Once again, I'm going to say I do understand why Raiden has so many moves that end the person with the pushing them back so far instead of it being just a hard knockdown. Because again, you can't even if you were to hit this and then go straight into that, you were able to get blocked. I know he didn't block because he doesn't have it up. So you hit this, and then you go in and it's blocked. See, so it's not something you can't even really convert off this. Like, there's nothing, once you hit it in the neutral like that, there's no way to really go ahead and convert off of it outside of dashing up. And again, I just don't feel like Raiden is the best. And even after one dash up, you're still not close enough to actually jab him. So again, one dash up, I have to wait for my second hit to actually hit them. So again, I'll probably get down one or something out of that, because I have to dash up twice to get the first hit off. So again, I guess you could dash up once and go, but most of the time you're gonna try to get in there. You can't dash up to grab them, anything like that. So again, I'm not really sure why all his moves end like this, where it's forcing you to dash up afterwards. So now, when we look at Reiko's overhead move, which is right here, his has a 16 frame startup, so it's a lot faster, much faster. It does 90 damage, so it does more damage. Has about the same range. Now this one here is a little interesting, as it's either -6 or -7 or -5 on block, depending on how far out you are. If you block it at the furthest point, it'll be -5 on block, but if you block it up close, it's -6. So it's still safe on block. Now Raiden's is only -7, but Reiko's is safer on block. Now, here's the biggest thing, and that's the fact that Reiko's ends with a hard knockdown. So he can just keep pressure on. You see, when he knocks you down, he's able to, hold on, here we go. He's able to jab you or kick you right afterwards. He's able to hit you with one of his moves right after it because it's a hard knockdown. And he's able to hit you. So he gets a hard knockdown. It comes out faster. It does more damage. And it's safer on block than Raiden's. Once again, overhead move better than Raiden. Let's move to the next person. All right, so here we are, Reptile. And his is his back two. So you have his regular back two right here, which does 19 damage. I mean, it has 19 frame startup, which is tied with Raiden. It does 50 damage, which is a little bit less. It does way less, so we win there. But it's only, let's see what it is on block. But it's only -4 on block. Now here's the kicker with his back two. He can actually charge this, and leading it to a pop-up combo, and it hits from far back. Not only that, if it does happen to get blocked, it's actually +2 on block. So it's plus if it does get blocked, and then his regular version is only -4. So if you do his regular version, it's only -4 on block, and if you charge it, you actually go ahead and become plus. So again, yet another overhead move, just outclassing Raiden in every category. Even though it does less damage, what the original version does less damage, I would take that because of the charged version, which does way more damage and leads to an actual pop-up. So once again, another overhead move better than Raiden. Now, let's move on to the next person. All right, so here we are with the next person, and that's gonna be Rain. His overhead move is the forward 3-2, right? So when we look at Rain's move has a 17 frame startup, which is faster than mine. He does 70 damage on it. Rain is 4-3-2. In the notes, when you look in the move list, it has a 17 frame startup. It does 70 damage. It has -5 on block, and this is a launcher, right? So once again, another person whose overhead is just clearly better. It gives you a launcher. It does roughly about the same amount of damage. It starts up faster, and it's safer on block. So once again, it's just another move that's an overhead that's yet again better than Raiden. So we have Reiko, Reptile, and Rain, all moves better than Raiden's. Okay, let's go on to the next person. All right, so here we are with Noob Saibot. Noob Saibot's overhead is this 4-3, which is this kick right here. Yet again, this is another overhead that's going to be better. So when we look at the startup, it's going to have a 20 frame startup, which is basically the same as Raiden. The damage on it is going to be 90, which is more than Raiden. The on block is -5, which is safer. And one thing again that I will point out is that it's a hard knockdown. So Noob Saibot is still right in his face. Right, we're still right in the opponent's face with this. They're right there in front of you. They're not pushed back at all. This still allows you to do pressure. Now here's what else. Not only is it a hard knockdown, here's the other thing that makes it great, is the range on this move. So I was a little too far there, but look at the range on this move. See what I'm saying? This move here, I just did the wrong move there. But this move here has amazing range on it. Way more range than Raiden's back two could ever dream of reaching. So not only does this move start up about the same, have more damage, but it also leads in a hard knockdown, which is great for pressure, and it reaches, the reach on it is just way, way better, man. So, yet again, another person, overhead, just flat out better. Now, on to the next person. Now for Smoke, we're gonna have his back two, which is this overhead right here. Now this overhead has 28 frames of startup, right? Which is way slower than mine. But again, the range on this makes up for that. Like, look how far that is. See how far that hits? So again, the range on this makes up for the slow startup, as you're not gonna throw this out up close. So again, and with it being 28 frames, that's not too far. That's less than 10 frames than mine. But mine being 19 frames is still fairly slow and very reactable. But again, with this being 28 frames, it does 50 damage, which is less than Raiden's does. But it has -5 on block, which is safer than Raiden's overhead. For some odd reason, this is safer. Jumping in with this is safer than Raiden's overhead. For some odd reason, on block. Don't understand why. And not only that, this leads to a overhead low. So again, you have to block overhead into a low, making it that much harder to block as that is a string. So again, this overhead here, certified just better than Raiden's overhead because it leads to this move. And not only that, I believe you can lead to special moves afterwards. So again, another overhead just simply better than Raiden's. Raiden's overhead way better. So let's move on to the next person. All right, here we are with Sub-Zero, and we all know his overhead, which is the back two, which is this right here. Now with this move right here, it does have a 24 frame startup, so it is slightly slower than Raiden's, but with that being said, it does do 97.5 damage. It is completely unsafe on block, being negative 23, but as you can see here, you can go ahead and launch off of this. This does launch lead to a full combo. Another thing you're able to do is cancel this into your special move, and again, like that, and get an overhead low, which is very, very good. So again, even though this is blocked, you can do an overhead low special cancel, or again, it just launches. If it does hit, it launches for a full combo. Yet again, even though it's slightly slower than Raiden's, it's just flat out better. Flat out better. Now we got one more person on here that has a very good overhead. And again, let's see if Raiden can at least beat out this last person. Let's go on to the last guy. And as you can see on the screen, man, the last person with an overhead move that is just flat. Let's see if it's better than Raiden, which I doubt. It's gonna be Kung Lao, baby. And again, let's see what it looks like here. So as you can see, here we go. And let's talk about it. So the startup on this is gonna be 18 frames, which is faster than mine. So it's faster. It does 50 damage. So it is weaker. It is a little weaker than mine due to it doing 50 damage. But you know, let's see if the less damage actually kind of works out for it. Now, this is negative 19 on block, which is completely unsafe, okay? Completely unsafe. So this is one of those moves that you don't want to get blocked, but you can always go ahead. I need to figure out what one of his moves is real fast. Can I do that? Oh, what's the grab? Yeah. Okay, so. Yeah. Alright, so when you do have this move here, you can always go ahead and special cancel after it to get moves. So if you do catch someone with this, you can definitely just special cancel afterwards. I messed it up there, but here, you just special cancel and you go ahead and get your move. But even without that, with this move, it launches. You know, and I don't really know how to play Kung Lao like that, but it's a launcher. It pops them up in the air and allows you to do other things afterwards. Yet again, yes, it is. It's faster than mine. Yes, it is weaker when it comes to damage, and it is unsafe. But you get to launch and get full combos and can special cancel after it. All things that Raiden is not able to do after his overhead. It's just basically a move that he has that he can't really capitalize off of unless you're in the corner. So I just don't get it. That's Reiko, Reptile, Rain, Smoke, Sub-Zero, Kung Lao. That's 7 characters on the roster whose overhead is just flat out better. My overhead is not that good. It should probably lead, in my opinion, it should lead to a launcher for me to get some type of combo off of. This way I can do something with it. It's not hard to ask for that, as other moves of similar qualities have launchers that do similar shit. And if you want to, actually, they do less damage. And I would actually take the less damage for the launcher. Or just give it a regular hard knockdown so I can continue pressure. One of the two. But however they want to do it, hopefully they do something different up here soon. Because all these moves, my down back 2, that razzle dazzle trash, my forward 2-1, which should be a forward 2-2-1 and be an overhead. The 2-4-2-1 string, if you complete it, and how the fact that it's not safe at all, especially in comparison to Johnny's 2-1-4-4. And I just went and showed you guys all of these overheads that are just flat out better, man. But let me know down in the comments if y'all know anything that I missed out on, or especially when it comes to an overhead move that maybe beats out Raiden's. And just let me know down in the comments how you feel. Let me know if I'm the one tripping, or does my boy need a buff? Because I definitely think that he does. But this has been one of them. Actually, this is a new type of video for me. But as always, please like, comment, subscribe, follow, share, become a supporter, and catch me streaming on Facebook Gaming and Twitch at that boy ETV. Now, catch you on the next one. I'm out. Peace.